Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to Banjo-Kazooie, where we are heading through the first note door. That door was easy, you got past. Unfortunately, you're first and last. And with a bit of taunting from Gruntilda, we've got an interesting new room. We have a few pathways. Over there is the standard issue enemy of Grunty's lair, the Gruntling. They get progressively stronger as you make your way through the lair. Up there is a puzzle. Over here is another puzzle. You can see sand and sort of pipes and metalwork. And here is someone green with an interesting hairstyle. So let's go and talk to this green person.
Hello there, young ones. I'm Brentilda, Gruntilda's nicest sister. I've crept down here to help you defeat the old hag. It's about time she was taught a lesson. I know all of Grunty's disgusting secrets, and I'll tell you 3 of them every time you find me. Remember them well, young ones, as they will help you avoid a fiery fate. I'm not going to be much more specific than that, and it's actually really difficult to keep track of everything you found, but I'll tell you anyway. Grunty brushes her rotten teeth with tuna ice cream flavoured toothpaste. She also washes her hair with baked beans. Yuck!
Okay, so it's different to what I had last time. Because I've essentially wound up taking a save state again. I thought it would have been the same, but it's not.
And she gets her clothes from the witch's warehouse.
Okay, give me a tick. Yeah, I'm not kidding. You do have to work really hard to actually remember those. Write them down or something. Because they are important. Those are all answers to the Grunty space questions in Grunty's Furnace Fun, which is the fiery fate that you're trying to avoid. Because you'll either wind up running out of health as you get questions wrong. There's a hidden Mumbo token in here. Okay, and some of Grunty's dialogue, and we found a magic cauldron. The warp cauldrons are essentially shortcuts. 2 are the same, and you can travel through the lair pretty easily. Now, we can't do anything about this because we don't have the ability to use this pad just yet. What we can do, though, is go over here to this area. To remove pieces that you've already put down, press the down C button. But once the picture is complete, all the pieces are stuck there permanently. So, put it in, take it out. Put it in, take it out. Whoop. Oh well. No more mucking around. We have opened up World 2, Treasure Trove Cove. So we've got our sea shanty, so now that you've seen this puzzle, you know what to look for in terms of music. You also know that there aren't any level entries in this room, so we can move on. Now, if you look around, you'll see, again, world entry face, which might prompt you to head straight up here. But don't worry about that just yet, because this isn't where we need to go. If you look down there, you can see more eyes, and this. We can go through here, which I will take you because we can get a Mumbo token, we can bash a baddie, and we get a little preview of a useful item. Up here. Lucky you, I'm an invulnerability feather. Bottles will tell you more. So, Mumbo token and another warp cauldron, which will basically have the same dialogue each time, so we don't need to worry about that because we already know about it. And if we head down here, we'll get another preview of later in the game and some eggs. There's so much to explore, and the way everything looks is really, again, really creative. This is another childhood favourite, basically. I was introduced to Banjo-Kazooie by, interestingly enough, Rusty Bucket Bay of all places. Yeah, and despite that, I absolutely love the game. It builds so much on what Mario 64 did. It's probably even brighter and more cheerful. It's got very distinct and memorable designs for all its levels. They're pretty nicely spaced out. There's a good mix of challenges. And it feels even more visually distinct in so many ways. The soundtrack is just as good, if not better. I mean, well, it's definitely better, I'd say. So, you'll note that there is a puzzle here, and if we look in ahead it says Click Clock Wood. But you'll also note there's no Jiggy Podium. What's going on with that? Well, we'll find out later. Another Mumbo token. And another Brentilda, who can provide us with more horrible facts about Gruntilda. Ugly Grunty's nickname was Hog Breath. At which school? That matches up with what I had. I also know that Sweaty Gorilla Feet, that's a new one, is her favourite smell. And the old hag's favourite colour is ghastly grey. Okay, so those changed. Yes, they are. There are 3 possible options for each one, and they're random each time. Which means either you have to get very lucky on guessing, or you have to do a lot of writing. You can take photos, but it's still a right royal pain in the keister. So we might as well go exploring a little more. Well, actually, no, it would spoil the surprise. But I will mug that guy, and down we go to the second world. You will, of course, notice that the music has changed. In we go to Treasure Trove Cove. I'll probably try and fit this into one video, with all the attendant dialogue. Ahoy there! This be Treasure Trove Cove. There be 2 new moves for ye to find. Also, Banjo, the waters are shark infested. Don't dive into them if you can help it. And I missed the Jinjo. So yeah, I'm not kidding. Every time you go into the main body of water, there's a shark. Snacker the shark will hunt you down, and you're just going to have to deal with him. You will have to try and outswim him, and you'll also have to deal with crabs as well. It's not a great start to our day beachcombing. We've been attacked by a shark, and we've got crabs as well. So, even the honey is aware of how good it tastes. That must create some serious existential dread. Climb up the trees, and we get some notes and a crab underneath us. We are going to have a very big problem with crabs and oysters. I have never, ever been able to understand why people would want to eat oysters. They're allegedly aphrodisiacs, according to some people, but why? You look at them and it's a booger. Somebody hocked up a loogie and put it in a shell. That is what an oyster is. It's a piece of oceanic snot. And this is only the shell, admittedly, but still. They're terrible. So, this beached ship is known as the Salty Hippo, which is a bit of an interesting one because, well, the term salty is presumably meant to be a salty sea dog, a pirate with brine in his veins and the wind in his hair and things like that. Better go up here, by the way. So we've got some red feathers. But these days it basically means you're mad at a video game or something like that, which created a big problem for me. Wait a moment. I'll finish telling that soon. This is your big chance, chicken legs. It's time for you to actually behave like a bird and fly. Better be easy, bog eyes. Simple enough even for you, bird brain. Just stand on a flying disc and press A. Here's 25 red feathers to help you into the air since you're apparently incapable of doing it yourself. How on earth do I actually burrow through this anyway? What sort of space-time warping am I doing? Where am I? So, we will get to fly a little bit later. But yeah, Salty, I actually have a shiny Pelipper that I nicknamed Salty because I was thinking of a salty sea dog, not the gaming term. Ahoy there! I'm Captain Blubber, and I lost me treasure when me ship crashed. Well, go find it then, Blubberguts. Arr, but I can't swim. Can ye help an old sea hippo? Sure, we'll find it for you. As you can see, Banjo is much, much nicer than Kazooie most of the time. Kazooie will pull her head in when Banjo tells her to, and that's about it. Oh, nice, stuck the landing. So, Captain Blubber appears as a bit part character across the series. Another Mumbo token. Ahoy there! I be Blubber's treasure, just in case you were wondering who else's treasure could be in this level. Just Captain Blubber's. He's an idiot, he at least knows that it's here, but yeah, he can't swim. Now, I believe that in some cases, some people didn't want to learn to swim when serving in the Navy, which seems counterintuitive, but they figured death, if your ship sank, death by drowning was better than waiting around to be eaten by sharks or dying of hypothermia, which it is actually possible to do in salt water, or all sorts of other horrifying fates. I think it's actually brought up in Jaws. I'm not sure if... I think it's brought up in Quint's story about the sinking of the Indianapolis. But then I haven't seen the movie. I know that I sort of know what happens. But yeah. I'm an okay swimmer, but I don't live anywhere near the beach, and I have no real desire to go to the beach, mostly because it's too hot a lot of the time. And there we go. Me treasure. Thank you, me hearties. Take this reward. I'm off to spend. Well, I suppose that's one reason to hold on to your treasure. Alright. Now, we can learn the second new move very, very easily. It's just nearby. And that will take care of all the moves we need for this level. You'll reach new heights with my shock jump spring. Does Kazooie do it? My legs are tired. Banjo, don't lie. You've been using Kazooie to ferry yourself around for ages. At least most players will anyway. But simply stand on a shock jump disc, then press and hold A. Nice going. You've learned all the Cove's new moves. Now you can leave me alone. So if you use this, note how if we don't hold it, we will not get the full effect. If you let go early, you'll do a short jump. Something the game doesn't tell you that is actually really, really helpful, you can move off the pad. You will need that for quite a few things. And this is leaky, no good for water. Can bear block hole with pebble? Guess what you have to do? You have to fart an egg into the bucket. Twice! And now that Leaky is full of eggs, which probably, word of advice, eggs are not actually very good for patching things up. They're just going to wind up breaking and cracking, and the eggs are going to be really, really terrible and stinky under the beach sun, or they'll just go absolutely rotten and it will be really horrible, and absolutely nobody will want to go near you, Leaky, and you'll just be stuck with no friends. Anyway, in we go. The sandcastle is a vital area because this is our code chamber. Observe that there is a Jiggy, there is a crab, and the words Banjo-Kazooie on the wall. You have to spell out the name of your game to get a Jiggy. This also means that Q does not appear, interestingly enough. Every letter bar Q appears at least once. So, obviously we have all the letters in Banjo-Kazooie, so there are 3 O's and 2 A's. How many letters are there? So there's 7, 14, 21, 28. So I believe there are 28 letters. There are 2 A's and 3 O's. no Q, every other letter appears once. So, we have 100 seconds to spell out the name of our game. Can we do it? Basic reading ability is of course required to fully enjoy these games, which admittedly means that according to the meme, most modern Pokemon fans will not be able to play this game. Haha. Honestly, I do think reading comprehension is something that really needs to be developed. Media literacy across all sorts of works is important. Part of the gradual degradation of education, I guess. So this crab is still threatening us. Now, it's interesting to note that even if we actually try to use the Beak Buster on him, he won't go down in one shot. We need to use the Beak Buster twice. If you use the Beak Buster on a normal snippet, they'll go down in one shot and yield 2 honeycombs. You might have seen that. And there we go, Banjo and Kazooie have proven they know how to spell, they've passed the first grade, and we can get some notes. And then we can move on and find out what else the beach has for us. So, Talontrot is just much faster than Banjo and actually has better traction. So you're going to want to use it. You know what? Let's go and give ourselves more crab trouble. By facing a very big one, we can get a bad case of crabs thanks to Kazooie's mouth. I know what I said.
This Nipper's beach. You find nothing without Nipper's help.
Well, help us then, crustacean brain.
Cheeky bird need feathers clipping.
Oh yeah? Just try it, shellhead. You see what I mean? Half the time we're getting into trouble because Kazooie won't shut up. Kazooie has to keep shooting her mouth off at pretty much everything going around. But fortunately we can peck Nipper in the eyes. And yeah, we'll be able to go inside that shell. So, now we need to head out here for a little bit. We don't have to spend a lot of time in deep water. Which is very fortunate because Snacker will insistently come after us. Snacker is also one of the few respawning enemies in the game. If you do defeat him by shooting 3 eggs from your backside at him, which you have to do very quickly, Snacker will just come back the next time you enter the water. So there's the first of our empty honeycombs, and because of where it's located, you're going to get bitten at least once. Unless you're very, very good, which I'm not. And unfortunately, you don't get much of a chance to enjoy the Treasure Trove Cove underwater music because of Snacker. Bit of a pain, really. But we go through the gorgeous Technicolor shell, all sorts of different hues, and we find that Nipper has become 2 smaller crabs. He's reproducing by budding. So yeah, Beak Buster, 2 honeycombs. And another Jiggy. The bosses of each world in Banjo-Kazooie are not really that big. They're not major challenges like the ones in Banjo-Tooie. They're generally pretty easy to deal with. Some of them get a bit more troublesome as the game goes on. But Nipper's not that hard. So, next destination should actually be off this way. Go right past our sailor hornpipe. Let's just listen to the music for a bit, you know? So if you want to get down from flying, just use a beak buster. I did forget to do the usual listen to the music bit, and we probably did have a fair bit of goings on over the music, so sorry about that, but still, amazing soundtrack. It's just so upbeat and cheerful, and the music really winds up helping set the scenes. Because most of the music in this game is actually in a major key, which adds to the level design. It adds to the level design, the bright, fun and cheerful approach of the game. And it's very telling that the much more serious Banjo-Tooie has most of its music set in minor keys. And you can tell just how much of a change it is. For example, try listening to the Imperial March in a major key. It would sound so different. But just the way the music is all set up, the way it flows into the different variations so well. You can't go wrong, really. I mean, it just goes to show off what the composers at Rare could do. I mean, any composer can do. I have so much respect for video game composers. I really love being able to talk about the music. I really love just being able to sit back and listen and share all the different moods you get from the different music across various games. It's truly spectacular, really. You've got so many wonderful, memorable tunes from pretty much all the Banjo games. Admittedly, it's not quite as strong due to the nature of the GBA with Grunty's Revenge, but I still love the soundtrack for that. The music still fits really well. You've probably seen me ground pound these, so you'll need to use these to track down some treasure. Despite what Indiana Jones has said, X does sometimes mark the spot. Interestingly enough, Indy winds up being proven wrong in the movie he says that. But yeah, you've got just it's the perfect, jaunty, enjoyable, relaxing beach tune. It feels like a holiday. And you've got Mumbo's Mountain as a very jolly and upbeat piece, sort of helping ease you into the game. It's a lot of fun. The music in the Termite Tower is actually different, because it's a remnant from when Mumbo's Mountain actually had different music, which is pretty cool in and of itself. There's a lot of focus on percussion like marimba and xylophone and the like, and some brass as well. There's a bit of woodwind in there as well. The flute works really well with this, giving it just this really light and cheerful approach, and the level is so well set up for flying too. Almost. So, claims we'll never find him. But if you're paying attention, it's a little obvious. It's designed to take you... this is really good because it's designed to take you on the path around the level and you go, aha, I haven't been down there, I've looked everywhere. So, defeat the crab, ground pound this, and open the treasure chest with pretty much any beak attack. That's interesting. You get a short-range beak barge, or long-range depending on how you hold the button, but I don't think the game says anything about that. So, Shark Food Island out there, part of Stop and Swap. You need specific codes in order to get that, so you'd need the sandcastle. Alrighty, let's get a Mumbo token. And then... So we do have to avoid the shark again, who I think is a little faster than us, which is a pain in the butt. So we get the super persistent shark, and how many jiggies have I got? Have I got 7? I believe I've got 7. Yeah, we're not doing too badly. We've nearly wrapped it up. We just need to get the Jinjos and the last 2 regular ones. Treasure Trove Cove is really just well built for exploration and adventure. It's designed to help you get to grips with those 2 new moves you get. It's really nice, and it's got very distinct designs and areas, so you're not really going to get lost, which again is part of the way the level design works in Banjo-Kazooie. That worked. I think I almost clipped inside it. So we have decided that we are going to touch Gruntilda's booty, and Gruntilda is not very happy that we have touched her booty. And she's going to make the game difficult for us because we've touched her booty. I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to touch Gruntilda's booty in one way or another, especially in the game over and the quote-unquote hot Grunty. But, I mean, in all fairness, it is the most obvious pirate pun in the entire world making booty jokes, so I'm probably going to have to penalise myself for that. It's really a little bit cliche. Something that's pretty neat, there's no music up here, but there's something cool I can demonstrate. It's just really quiet. It's kind of peaceful in a sense. You can still... Ah yes, that happens sometimes, you get the tree to disappear. You just have the sound of the sea breeze, the occasional seagulls, and the rest of the level. It's a long way down and you will hurt yourself and probably die if you fall off. And there's the witch switch. So there's another jiggy. Nice. And we can go inside here with with a beak attack. We'll usually need Kazooie's beak to break things. Last 5 notes, and the last jiggy on top of that. We also get to do a little dance when we collect all 10 jiggies in normal form. However, if we're underwater at the time, we don't get the dance either. You have to be on land. Now, let me just do something. Okay, so we hurt ourselves doing that. This is something I just want to teach for anybody who is trying to play Banjo-Kazooie. There's a bit of a glitch we can show off. Whoops, overcorrected. Now, if I get right on the edge... No fall damage, see? It's an unintended glitch. But... it's got really good results, because you can avoid fall damage. And because of the way the level is structured, you can actually fly up here. You don't have to go through here. And the music will fade out and pick back up. Really well done. No fall damage if you land in water, by the way. We've got everything we need to in Treasure Trove Cove. Pretty good going, if I do say so myself. We'll go out and get that witch switch jiggy and we're all done. Yeah, I've probably been a bit more of a Mr. Exposition, but there's so much to explain about this game. There's so much cool stuff I want to talk about. I don't know what to talk about or where to go next. Wow! Your best note score for this world is now 100! But, like, it's just... I could talk for ages the way the level design goes. The way the level design is structured to help you find your way around.
the colourful aesthetics, the way everything is designed. Probably the one thing I'd consider a bit of a flaw is that a lot of the time, the moves don't always help you in terms of general exploration as such. They do help in terms of exploration, but that's kind of all they do. You often need specific moves to do specific things, compared to Mario's amazing moveset, which you generally don't need to complete the game, but it helps you do so in style. That's probably the one thing I'd count against this, but overall you've just got these really interesting and very distinct designs. The way everything is set up to be so memorable in terms of music, in terms of graphics, in terms of the way everything is structured. How easy it is to navigate the levels for the most part. Even the tougher levels still have special setups. Just little touches like all the vines on the walls. The carved figures adding to the overall feel, some of them slightly changing depending on where you're going to indicate the level you're encountering. All those little things. And you can just see all the little aesthetics that say, hey, this level's got something to do with those pipes we saw earlier. Could it be something to do with that pipe puzzle? Where did we see that? Because you're allowed to connect everything in your head, you can go back down and you can basically go, oh, okay, it was in here. There's something for me to do here. Little touches like that make this game so well constructed, pretty easy to navigate, and just so memorable. There's so much fun to be had with this, I don't really know where to start. I probably can't put it into words that easily, but just so you know, it's a lot of fun and we'll be continuing in the next one. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.